To find one of the greatest mysteries of our lifetime, one does not have to look to space or look through a microscope. One simply has to exist. Our bodies as a human species is one of the most complex, versatile, and intelligent scientific mysteries to ever grace this planet. One of the biggest mysteries of all in our body is our brain. We know that our brain essentially directs our bodies in certain manners of which we desire them to go, but where does the idea of desire come from? What makes people choose one choice over another? How do people even know they exist? The simple answer is consciousness. Now, because consciousness is intangible by human hands and eyes, it is almost impossible to objectively study it. As you can imagine, this has caused many scientists to pull out their hair. In recent past, some scientists felt they could not answer the question of consciousness and ignored the subject altogether. Others believe that because consciousness was intangible, it does not exist, therefore there was no issue at hand of what consciousness was and was not. Just to show you how hard it is to truly study consciousness, I'm going to show you a video of two images at rapid speed. I want you to tell me the difference between the two. Then I want to tell you the difference and see if you can all unconsciously forget what I just consciously made you aware of.
Down the only road I've ever been down. You know, the one that takes you to the places where all the things meet, yeah. No change I can change, I can change.
The truth is, you can never unsee what I just forced you to consciously see. Why did this happen? Obviously, many scientists felt differently about the subject of consciousness, considering when we start to ask questions about ourselves, such as, how do I feel today? Or, what do I want for breakfast? Fast forward time a little bit to 2012 and consciousness is all over the scientific community. Science is starting to ask not only what consciousness is, but also what role language plays in the development of consciousness. The overarching theory of language and consciousness is that consciousness predates language, and without consciousness, language could not exist. Consciousness and language have deep-seated backgrounds in many different genres of academia, such as psychology, philosophy, evolutionary psychology, and linguistics. Amongst these genres of academia, there are two leading ideas about the evolution and advent of consciousness and language. One view is biological in nature and the other is philosophical. From a biological standpoint, scientists in their respective fields believe that consciousness and language are both derived from an evolutionary process of the brain, and consciousness and language can be boiled down to nothing more than neural activity in the brain. The other approach to consciousness and language is philosophical. It proposes that consciousness is not brain activity alone, but consciousness exists outside our physical bodies, and language is what helps us to interpret these symbolic, conscious representations of the world around us. In the scientific community, in order to study language and consciousness, they often try and pull them apart from each other to be able to try and understand each phenomenon before putting them together. Although this method works great on objects we can tangibly study, it does not work out well in the realm of consciousness and language. In my paper, I attempt to show that consciousness and language cannot be pulled apart, but have to coexist in order for us to make any sense of it. Also, that if there was a starting point for consciousness, it would be language makes consciousness and not vice versa. For language holds such important factors such as identity and social constructs that are important for us as human beings to advance in our world. I hypothesize that consciousness cannot be boiled down to sheer biology or the metaphysical realm of philosophy, but in order to understand consciousness, we must take in many different fields of research to derive a better understanding of what consciousness and language are.
I can change, I can change, I can change.